special report on blizzards and winter storms. I'm your host, Cindy Storm, and tonight we're going to take you through the world of blizzards, their formation, and their devastation. To start out tonight, we're going to give you a little background on what a blizzard is and how they form. So sit back, relax, and be informed.
Let's start at the very beginning, shall we? Before we move forward, we must have a firm foundation after all. What exactly is the difference between a winter storm and a blizzard? Well, a winter storm is just what it sounds like, a storm in winter. So instead of rain, you get snow. And a blizzard is basically a winter storm on steroids. Unlike a winter storm, it has lower temperatures, 20 degrees Fahrenheit or below, more snow, and higher wind speeds, at least 35 miles per hour. These components add up to about a quarter-mile visibility. If these conditions last for 3 or more hours, you have a blizzard. The formation of a blizzard is very similar to the formation of a hurricane. A blizzard forms when a high-pressure system interacts with a low-pressure system, causing the warm air to rise and interact with the cold air. This is known as an unstable atmosphere. The mixing of warm and cold air causes condensation. When the water vapor condenses, it releases latent heat, which is then absorbed by the air. The heat causes the air to rise and continue condensing and forming clouds, in this case, nimbostratus storm clouds. When the precipitation starts to fall, it falls into cooler air, and voila, you have snow. Now the humid air that formed these clouds gathered its moisture from either an ocean or another large body of water. This is where blizzards and hurricanes look eerily similar. A common location for blizzards is along the northeastern coast of the United States because of the polar air coming in from Canada and the warm, wet air from the Gulf Stream. Storms that occur in this area therefore creatively named nor'easters.
When a blizzard hits an area, an entire community can be devastated. Millions of people are affected by blizzards each year. Let's take a look at some of the most infamous and well-known blizzards of all time.
One of the most famous blizzards of all recorded history occurred from March 11th to the 14th in 1888. This blizzard is also referred to as the Great White Hurricane because of its whiteout conditions. It stretched from Maryland to the Canadian Maritimes and had snowdrifts that were up to 50 feet high. As a result of this blizzard, 200 ships were lost at sea and 100 seamen died. Overall, 400 people died from this blizzard. The damage from this blizzard stunted New York's transportation so badly that they developed an underground subway system so that future storms would not freeze them so severely. The blizzard of 1993 is one of the largest and most intense storms and is also called the storm of the century. This blizzard hit the eastern seaboard on March 12th through the 13th. The wind speed reached up to 120 miles per hour and snowdrifts from 5 to 10 feet. This storm started off as a cold trough of low pressure in the upper atmosphere and grew into the most intense extratropical storms ever to hit the United States. The South had a very hard time during this storm because they were not equipped for such severe weather. There were thousands of power lines knocked down, which left people in the dark for over a week. It cost the United States billions of dollars, and 285 deaths were recorded during this storm. It was the first storm to declare a state of emergency 2 days before it hit. It predicted accurately the strength 5 days in advance. The blizzard in January of 1996 was also devastating to North America. It was a severe nor'easter with a maximum snowfall of 48 inches in West Virginia. The full impact of this blizzard was not realized, however, until after the storm had passed. The increase in temperature afterwards was significant enough to melt all of the piled-up snow. While the storm had killed 154 people, the flooding that followed killed 33 more, and total damages cost upwards of $3 billion.
Hello, and welcome to another Cindy Storm Summary. Where do blizzards most often form? Well, in the United States, blizzards most often form in the Atlantic to New England area due to polar winds colliding with winds from the Gulf Stream. Storms that form in these regions are known as nor'easters. Write that in your notes. In March of 1888, there was a nor'easter that formed up in Maryland that caused the death of 400 people. In Maryland, many people are very prepared and ready for storms, so this was a huge devastation. This blizzard was known as the Great White Blizzard because it caused so many whiteouts. And as we learned before, a whiteout is when there's low visibility, which caused much of the death. Another devastating storm was a storm of March of 1993. It was called the Storm of the Century. It hit the southern United States as well as Cuba. It devastated these areas because they were so unprepared for this type of weather. However, during this time, scientists had become advanced enough to predict the storm 5 days in advance, issuing a state of emergency 2 days in advance, allowing for some people, not all, but some, to escape the winter weather. Another devastating blizzard that affected North America happened in January 1996. This blizzard was different than many of the other blizzards. Although it included high winds and lots of snow, something that was different about it, the flooding. After the snow had fallen, after the weather had warmed up, the ice began to melt, and the water couldn't go anywhere and flooded certain areas, causing even more deaths and devastation. There were 187 people that died during this storm. Tonight, we are lucky enough to have a special guest. Please help me welcome Dr. Frio.
Hello, Cindy.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to be here.
We're so glad to have you here, Doctor. I've heard you've been trying to educate people on the dangers of blizzards and how to stay protected from them.
Yes, for the past few years, that's been my goal, to try to educate people about how they can predict, stay protected, and be precautious about winter storms and blizzards.
And what can you tell us about that first topic, prediction?
You can think of a blizzard like a thunderstorm, but more fierce and replace the rain with snow. Both are formed when cold fronts encounter warmer areas of air, and both can be recognized by significant changes in temperature and pressure.
And is there a way to know the strength of a blizzard before it arrives?
Yes, actually scientists have recently developed the Northeast Snowfall Impact Scale, or NESIS. They developed the scale because blizzards actually did not have a scale to rate their strength.
Wow.
But they also took into account not only the snowfall, but also the population that would be affected by the blizzards and how urbanized the areas were.
Absolutely. So, what is the scale measured on?
Well, there are 5 categories, the least being notable, followed by significant, major, crippling, and finally extreme. And, well, okay, let's put this in perspective. The blizzard of 1996 and the storm of the century in 1993 were both under the extreme category. But the blizzard we just had recently, this year, in the southern United States, was only a 3.
Oh, wow.
Well, a 3 is still really strong, but it was mainly rated that because, while it seemed so devastating to us, it wasn't that much in the big scheme of things.
Right. So, what conditions could one expect before a severe winter storm?
Before the cold front passes, bringing with it the blizzard, your area would still be cold, albeit less cold than it will be.
Yeah.
Pressures would still be relatively low, and you might be on the brink of snow with the formation of stratus and stratonimbus clouds. Humidity would have to be great enough, though, to provide the water needed for the snow.
Okay.
Although sometimes the snow can be gathered from water in lakes or other bodies of water. If the storm creates snow in this manner, then it's called lake effect snow.
Wow, so places near the Great Lakes, for example, have a higher chance of winter storms due to this lake effect snow?
Exactly. Another odd formation of a blizzard doesn't even come from it snowing.
Wow.
The snow could have already fallen and be on the ground, and winds can pick up enough again that it can blow it around and create near whiteout conditions.
Wow, that's crazy. So whiteout conditions can still occur even after the initial storm?
We call it a round 2. These are known as ground blizzards.
So what can you do to protect or prepare yourself from these types of storms?
Well, my first piece of advice to offer is to drivers. If you can at all possibly, do not go out on the road, because whiteout conditions can cause you to drive off the road. You can't see in front of you, and if you're in your car, if you have to be in your car, then don't leave your car.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because those whiteout conditions, you might not be able to find your way back. If you're in your car, keep it on about every 10 minutes or so to keep the exhaust pipe clean.
Wow.
And keep the heat on.
Oh.
And make sure you have an emergency kit in your car, especially if you live in an area that is known to be affected by
Near the
blizzards.
Great Lakes. Mm-hmm. After the storm passes, what can you do to help prevent unwanted damages in the future?
Well, make sure the storm is completely passed before you go outside, because snowdrifts, and always watch your children, because snowdrifts can be deeper than you think they are,
Wow.
and there's always a possibility of a ground blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
But make sure to keep yourself in mind too. Blizzards are known as deceptive killers because they kill mostly from hypothermia, and overexhaustion can cause heart attacks if you shovel snow
Wow.
for too long.
So, Doctor, do you have any parting words?
Do all you can to keep ahead of the storm. Watch your local news channel. Make sure that you have these supplies ready if you ever should. Stay inside, stay warm, and stay safe.
Wow. Thanks again, Doctor. This has been a pleasure, and I hope you guys have learned something. Well, I hope you've taken some new information away from this evening's special report. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cindy Storm, and this has been an ELNP special report on blizzards and winter storms.